Hey, how's it going? I'm going to read you some cards. I would like you to first look at my signs there. Whoops. Whoa. I need to get a grip, obviously. Whoa, okay. So, hi. Okay, these cards are a little bit from yesterday. Just, sometimes stuff happens before I can get to this. So, wow, I'm sorry. I'm the temperature just got really cold in here. I'm not saying that it's anything supernatural. It is it can't decide if it wants to hail, frost, snow, rain, but it was like springy last week. Quiet you. Like a couple of days ago, it was, I think, in the 50s, which it wasn't raining and it wasn't doing anything precipitation-wise, so it was it would have been a good time to go out. Unfortunately, I was not able to, but just the temperature was nice and mild, during the day it got into the 40s, or not the 40s, 60, so still not balmy, but no ice will grow on you in 60 degrees. And so I am literally sitting under a blanket right now. There's a heater right next, it's around a corner, but it's right there. The corner, it's close is what I'm saying. And it is cold. So that's why I haven't been going out when it's been nice. Anyway, the reading. Let me get to that. Oh, okay, don't go out of order. Hold on, I didn't lay stuff out here. But I want to talk about the reading, though, because when I pulled the tarot cards that I usually kind of just pull for my own purposes, I really was I'm gonna lay it on thick, let whatever I'm feeling just come right on through. And then I put them down. So, first card I pulled, oh shoot, my ballot arrived and it's all big and in the way. Actually, before I get started, let me just quickly grab this other deck thing. Okay. From the Shaman's Dream, never mind. I'm sorry. Oh my god. From the Shaman's Dream Oracle deck, I pulled Deep Diver, or Deep Dive. Deep Diver? Deep Diver. And that subtitle reads, Diving into a Task. And it is the number 10 card, so have a look. Okay. And I also pulled a card from the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And I got the Phoenix card. Again. I think I pulled it twice in 2 days. That's cool. You want to see? There you go. The Phoenix, the whole rising from the ashes thing, it's totally trashed and then goes through fire and rises through the ashes. It's a metaphor. And then I pulled some cards from the Lightseers deck, which is what I started talking about at the beginning there, and my goodness, they certainly do reflect what I was feeling like. So, diving into a task. If you watch this regularly, you will know that I've had issues with cable company and stuff like that, just corporate corporations doing corporate stuff. Not a fan. So I did get those things resolved. I did have like a lot of inconvenience along the way. Like my credit is just destroyed now. I'm not in the market to buy a house, but that's kind of a metric where people look at you like you're worth something or you're a piece of crap, even if they're not like some sort of agency you're doing business with. It's terrible. It's like business herpes or something. And so many people have it, so I don't get why it's so like icky to other people. Like the whole thing that happened that like made my credit go bad. Well, let's see. First of all, the corporation assumed I was gonna like bail on my bill and just completely cut me off so that I couldn't even reach them to pay the bill for a little while, and then I'm not made of money. And so yeah, I couldn't like jump and pay them immediately what they wanted or pay early. They're like, pay early, come on, pay early. I'm like, come on, bite me. So how about I just pay when it's due, thank you. They have so much money, it's crazy. So because they made that assumption that I just wasn't gonna pay or something, I don't know what they were thinking. But they made it so that I couldn't contact them to make an arrangement or anything for like a while. And then in that interim, while I'm like trying to reach them and stuff, they just sent me to collections, and there went my credit score. So thank you, thanks a lot. My old bank probably too, for I mean, I'm not like I'm gonna say like I did not send myself a bad check, okay? Why would I do that? I did not do that. But what I did do is like pay everybody all the time, everything. $33 insufficient funds charges, and like if you know, like my thing is, if you know the money's not there, why do you keep charging me? Just so you can like charge up charges to charge me? That is not cool. And so I had to talk to those people though. I had to, it's probably a good thing that most of the time you can't actually speak to a live person on the phone, because it is hard not to get frustrated and just angry dealing with this stuff, and like if you've been paying all along and they suddenly treat you like you're just not gonna deal with it, why would they think that people would want to ruin their credit that way? And they didn't even they just like cut my throat. They're like, your history. And I didn't find out about my credit until recently, but because I pay stuff. I pay my bills. So yeah, but the bill paying and stuff aside, they like yanked services, and so that made life difficult, period, And what I'm getting at is, it was a stressful, it was a strain, it was stressful. I was not getting any kind of sympathy. Like every place went from, we love you so much, we're so polite, to curt and short and rude. I'm like, really? I'm in here all the time, either making the payments or making a payment arrangement, or it's like, I did my part as best I could under the circumstances, and so they then made it like hard and condescending and insulting to fix what my responsibility was to like do that, and I don't appreciate that, because I'm doing what I say I'm gonna do. Why are you changing the rules in the middle and then not even telling me? So I mean, it just began to work on my mind. It was like pissing me off, and you know, when I pulled this card, I saw, I don't know why, it was reminding me of like library and library stacks. Like I was breaking my brain trying to figure out, like trying to come up with ideas, like how do I like make these people happy and, you know, get my stuff back or get back something, because the reason why there was desperation was because I went from having like phone, internet, whatever, cable, the whole deal in one bundle, and it was my mistake to do that because, you know, this whole thing came out of the blue. Like if it hadn't happened, I would just be paying for things and, you know, but you gotta have these wrinkles in life. Otherwise, it would be boring, I guess. Although, I don't know, like, this is not fun. I really wanted to hang on to a little something, some kind of communication. So, my mobile phone, however, stayed active because it was paid, and you know, I really had to hang on to that. But I really was like isolated. I felt like more than normal because I am like isolated from people I know well, and around here I know people very superficially, if at all, and it's kind of a solitary existence. I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I'll just mention it. It kind of looks like she's on a horse, like there's mane or something here. I don't know what it is. It's like some kind of thing she does, or actually, I don't know who the artist is on this. Whoever they are, whatever gender they are, they'll have some of this sort of cross-hatching looking stuff, or like, I don't know, sometimes it'll look like palm fronds, like the decorative palm you have indoors, and yeah, I don't know what it is exactly, but here, it looks like this person that's so concerned with her finances, basically, and she is tired. Like, if it were me in this scenario, it would have been me trying to keep a grip on can everybody not just bleed me dry because I'm not like on a full tank of blood / money anyway? Can you just leave me enough to live? And do I have to live in privation? Can I have TV? No, I cannot have TV. Not yet. I swear I'm going to grow up again and get television one of these days. But back to the lady on the horse. It kind of looks like she's sitting side saddle, right? And I feel like that's like Maine, so I don't know, like, where are you going? I was feeling very isolated, you know, without kind of like I have a phone to look at, right? But you have to admit that if you are into that kind of thing, sitting in your chair with your big giant television screen is literally like a home movie experience, you know, like cinema. And this is not. You know what a phone looks like? It's a little bigger than this. It's like not ideal, you know. Like, I know a lot of filmmakers want their films to be seen in theaters for reasons that does not work for me as well as it once did, and it's just better to do that stuff at home. You know, you can stop it when you need to, go pee, whatever the situation is. But let's face it, it's just a better experience on a big screen than this. I don't mean to sound ungrateful, because it is all I have at the moment. But I'm still going to complain a little bit. And that's kind of... I got this card again, too. the Seven of Cups. And I don't know how much more obvious it could be that this is about making choices. And the choice that I've had to make was, do I act up really about this stuff? And well, the answer to that is no, don't do that, because that works against me. I'm better able to control that, like, finally. I've known it for a long time, like years and years, but didn't have like the best grip on my trigger of anger. So yeah, just go easily flying off on that over not much stuff that I really needed to get a better grip on that emotion there, because it wasn't really worth all of expending all of that energy on. But the choice in this whole matter was go nuts or calm the F down. So calming down won out the day, thankfully. But still, all of that has been difficult to recover from so much. So, I mean, it literally is like, it has been a battle with myself to not just focus on the one thing. Like, I don't have this, I don't have that. I have really been good about just not even going there, because once I feel myself starting to say I don't, I just I redirect and just start a new sentence. That was not good, just scratch that and start over. But I'm not used to it. I don't know if you heard what I just said about just figuring out how to do that. It's taken some practice. So I do kind of, it's like lingering around me to give into that impulse, and I really don't want to. And so I just kind of say the least that I have to say in these cases where I'm paying people that are for some reason now treating me like a criminal. Even though the payments pretty much never stopped, there would have been no interruption if they hadn't completely discontinued my services when they decided to send me to collections. So, thanks for that. Thanks for sending me to collections when after 20 years you have nothing to indicate that I'll suddenly stop paying you. And the thing that makes me irritated about that, I have to say, is that generally I would talk to a live person if possible, get a phone call, but sometimes that's not available for whatever reason, and you have to talk to a chat agent first. That's what I want immediately. All of these steps and crap, it's just more irritating, just one more thing to make it take longer, and I'd just rather be able to talk to a person. But you have to chat and tell what you want and turn down all this crap you don't want to do. Go to the troubleshooting page, which is sometimes everybody can just contribute, and it's I don't want that. And usually my problems don't really apply to those pages. By the time it's enough that I'm back at the site looking to talk to somebody, it's beyond any of the FAQs. So I could do without that. But I was just you know what? I just want to get through this. And so I'm thinking, here's what I discovered. When they canceled all of my other bundle, I lost my reduced rate phone plan for poor people, and my phone bill over doubled. I talked about this before, but I didn't know why it happened. Here's why it happened, and I can't, this is so petty. When I lost the bundle, when they took it away, even though I freaking paid for it, I lost my poor person's plan. So they knew I was poor, and they're we're going to charge you over double the amount. I'm wow, you people are great. So yeah, I mean, it was when you're trying not to get mad off at stuff and fly off the handle, wow, you get to have an even higher hurdle to get over. Thanks. I hope that, like, having to do more than it seems like it's worth is going to work out, is going to come back to me like, I'm going to be repaid many times over. Although, I know you should just be that way anyway. Like, why are you the crazy flying off the handle? That's not right. No one wants to be spoken to. Look, I have learned, at least like dealing with these agencies and things over the phone and chat, there's no profit for you if you just start abusing people. So I don't do that. But if I start getting mad, there's no way they don't hear it. There's no way they don't notice a change in the tone of my texts. Because I'll stop being friendly when you do, But you're not dealing with a person, and that's one thing that probably saves the whole deal, is that I realize I'm talking to an individual that just works for these people. They have no skin in the game. The same exact crap can happen to them. So at least I don't do that. There was a time early on where, we had like foreign phone banks answering service calls, and it was like you couldn't understand them. They weren't well trained or something, and it was just like better for the company, but not really better for the customer or those people picking up the phones, because people would just go off like, oh crap, my cat is throwing himself at the door. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I was talking about not going off on the foreign voices on the phone, or him. He loves to interrupt me when I'm doing stuff. It's like as soon as he knows I'm absorbed in meditation, or absorbed in a show, absorbed in a conversation, absorbed in recording, he's got to interrupt. Like, he could have, it's not raining or snowing or nothing out there. He ate a ton today. He already ate like, I let him have wet food. He only gets it like in the morning and in the evening. He gets a little bit. He was pestering me so bad, I gave it to him 3 times in like 5 hours. Like, not a full serving, but I guess the worm treatments are not working anymore, but I'll deal with that. Another thing, add it to my list. So, that's shitty though, to like get so mad. Like I was gonna say before the cat thing, Karen's is what it reminded me of, where if you've seen coverage of those sorry but Karen attacks, it is literally people like going into an establishment and just going nuts over like something that seems super trivial, or like wanting people to cook the food faster than it's cooking, as if, like, not like, what are you supposed to do? Like, put a brain ray on it? You can't. And like getting mad at them for like standing and like waiting for the food. Like, what are you supposed to do? And well, like I said, if you've seen it, it's ugly. Just, and it's trivial, like I said, but it's not just about that. Obviously, there's more going on with these people. You can kind of tell, like, having the wrong salt packets or something, or sugar, whatever. Like, it's always something, like, come on, they're not magic. What do you want from these people? They have a crappy job, and they're there not to take crap from people, but that's what happens. You don't get hazard pay in retail jobs. At least I never did. I've never heard of it. So, Karen's came along later than these phone call things I was talking about. But it's like, it's on us not to act a fool, as my relatives would have said, with other people. It's like not their problem. And also, they just work at the place, you know, like if you're calling like your cable company or your mobile phone company, the person you're talking to just works there. They don't own the company. Like, they're not getting anything out of your misery that you're calling about. They are not the ones doing it to you unless what they're doing is part of their job. It's not personal, I guess is what I'm saying. So, it's kind of like, I guess I was going to say it's a lot to remember, and then I was like, I don't know if I want to say that because, like, don't you know? Like, don't you just know not to treat people like trash? Like, that you have to deal with in a public situation, and that they have something you want, and they're there to serve you as far as handing you your food and making your change, but they're not your servant. They're not your lesser to poop on. Like, what? So that's a terrible way to be to people. And I say, don't you know that? Like, doesn't everyone, even if you weren't, I guess people are not raised to have manners anymore or something. That's too much trouble. I don't know. Like, I know I appreciate when people have manners. So, I don't know, just, I don't do that anymore. But like I said, I get frustrated, and I'm not trying to hide it. The situations have been frustrating, right? So, but, you know, you have to deal with these things. They come up all the time. And so you really have to sublimate your Karen. Put the Karen underwater. And, I mean, for me, I have to go deep sometimes when I'm trying to complete a task to not fly off the handle myself. I'm getting better. And so today I was investigating another option for communications and to get some home internet so that I can actually watch my streamers on my big stupid TV. And the guy asked me, he says, well, do you have Hulu? And I said, well, I have the Disney Plus bundle with Hulu. And he says, well, if you get Hulu, you can get a better deal. Do you need Disney Plus? And I was like, do I need it? I don't know. Do you need to see The Mandalorian? Yes, I do. Do you need to see Bad Batch? Yes, I do. Do you need to see the Marvel movies? Yes, I do. Because I do other videos besides the card reading about movies and television. So, yeah, I need it. But, we talked for a while. Like, we were texting at first, like I was saying, and then he was like, can I call you? And I was like, are you being inappropriate? Does this have to do with my business? And he's like, it's about this deal. It'd be easier to just talk. What did I say at the beginning of this rant? Just better to have a live person to talk to. So we got on the phone, and it took a while, but he wasn't trying to take stuff away from me. And, because I'm still engaged, obviously, with Xfinity, otherwise you would not be able to see and hear me. He had questions about that. And so I plan to transfer. I will have two phones for a minute because the other one will have to be mailed to me, and it can't be mailed here because of my friendly package sorter people that are my neighbors that either decide they sort of want what's in my box, but then they open it up and discover there's nothing in there they actually want. So I have found like open deliveries on my doorstep. Obviously, like, they didn't even bother to try to put it back together. Like, I just open the door and it's just open with the stuff all exposed. Like, wow, I love you guys too. Or just gone. So I lost some pretty high ticket items that way, and it's, partially that, but it's also the people that deliver them, like, they're in such a hurry to do, like, I think it's pretty well publicized, like, the way Amazon monitors their drivers, and it's ridiculous. Like, I'm sorry, I don't need whatever it is that fast. And they say you can ask for not immediate delivery, but I can never find the thing to click on. I don't know where they're hiding it. So, I mean, I guess I have to get a hold of support or something. I don't buy stuff that often. But, they're in such a hurry, like all of them. UPS, FedEx, Amazon, the mail, well, they got stuff out front to put bigger things in, so I don't have issues with them in that. But everybody else is in such a rush, they just throw the package down. They don't even bother to knock on the door. So I had to change my delivery address, because even though I'm in here because of my health, I'm home all the time. But if I don't hear the package go down and I don't hear the steps running away, then I have no idea something came. What if I'm not at the door? What if I'm on my deck meditating? Well, then I'm all the way outside, and then all the outside noise, I can't differentiate between someone, like, running up and throwing the package and running off. Like, I might not hear it. And, yeah, so I had to get a different delivery address. More hassles. But back to today. I spoke with the gentleman for quite a while. We hammered out something that was affordable. The phone will do what I need it to do. I was able to get a home internet package, and even though I have to pay like a couple of deposits, but they're not at all painful, because it's taken into account that I'm PO, as they say. No, I'm on, like, services, so the dole. So and I'm not like other people that are on Social Security at my age. I actually got sick in my mid-20s, so I didn't, like, accrue a bunch of savings. So that's where, like, my situation is, and it, it's okay. Anyway, that's the point, though. Everything works out okay anyway. Like, I'm alive. Like, I have my stupid stuff that I need. Like, oh, I shouldn't say stupid stuff about, like, living in a place inside. I do not take that for granted at all. Because I actually have been homeless. Short time, and I had a car. But you're still outside, you don't have amenities. I am appreciative of what I have, believe me, especially, like, now. I can't imagine trying to live outside, like, being a wheelchair person and with my cat. Like, oh my God, it just, I just don't want to have to live that again, because I see how it's not good. Like, we get all Karen on those people, and even if they are, everyone thinks, or not everyone, but a lot of people just dismiss them with, they're drunk and they're on drugs. And I'm like, well, maybe, but maybe you would be too, like, especially if you were a woman and you lost your place to live, and every time you accumulated anything, either somebody stole it from you, or the cops, like, took it and destroyed it while they were kicking you out of where you were trying to sleep under a freaking bush or whatever. Like, we don't treat each other very nice. A lot of times, not every time. So, I mean, really, it's a collaborative effort, like, interacting with each other. Am I going to be a wiener, or am I going to be a nice, or at least civil person, so that everybody can do what they came there to do without walking away with a wound? That's not necessary. I mean, like I said, you work somewhere, but in very rare cases, is it going to be like You care about the business and the business cares back. Put it that way. Like, you don't get a job and the business is tripping over you to make you a part of the family for real. Like, no. Nope. It doesn't even matter if you do all of the right things. I remember, when did this start happening? Probably like in the 90s. When I grew up, when people retired, they got a pension. If they were in like business or I don't know, like, I don't know, jobs where they would like throw you a going away celebration, and you get like, it was usually men, but they get like a gold watch. And then that stopped happening, like budget cuts or something. That's always the thing now. But it's not necessarily really the thing, because the cut budget from your whatever goes to a CEO, not like someplace useful to the company other than, administrative pockets. You know what I'm saying? Or, executive pockets. It's not Boeing. How about Boeing? Boeing wants the money so bad they won't even let the people put the stuff together right. I know people where I live that work at Boeing, and they've been saying, actually, they didn't say exactly what's happening now or what's come out that this actually I read in a magazine, okay, where the people building and designing the planes know like what needs to happen when those things are put together, so that they don't get up in the air and the door flies off and possibly sucks out people, and then they, so that didn't happen with the door getting sucked off. I believe nobody was sucked out of the plane, which is good, but it could have happened. And so then when everybody goes back, the airlines that have bought these planes go back to check, like, well, shoot, are our boats falling off too? I guess the answer was yes. So what I knew from the people I worked here, they did not want to talk bad about their company, but it was definitely clear that something was amiss down there, because people over their heads were either not doing what they were supposed to do, which was getting in the way of what the people that I knew needed to do, or else they weren't being allowed to do what they needed to do. So that's come out in the news. Like the executives want the money to come in so fast that they're just like, shortcut, cut every corner, and we don't care, just hurry up and do it. Mass produce, mass produce, mass produce. Don't take time to do it safely, though. Wow, how do we go from, like, it would be a terrible thing for our product to hurt somebody or to be seen as just a ridiculous, dangerous joke as it is now in the late night shows, Boeing. Where did that go? I guess it went with caring about people. Okay, I'm getting all sidetracked. Bottom line is, the Comcast thing was not fun to go through. It took like a lot of... I feel like it took like a lot of emotional work, and when I say that out loud, it kind of feels ridiculous, but you don't know. All I know is it was hard. But, I got it done. And then, so when I moved on to the next thing, setting up this new service, it took a long time. But, let's just say my social calendar happened to have a big gap in it today. I was able to sit here for, I don't know how long it was, almost an hour. Well, we sort of like hashed out what I needed and what he could do that met my need. Like, we kind of met in the middle as best we could there. So it worked out. But in both cases, okay, so the Comcast thing, like with the messing up my credit, I mean, I have to take responsibility for that. I'm not in the market to buy a house, but having bad credit interfered with the quality of phone that I could get, you know? So, and then I have to fix it. And I also, I guess, have to go back to Comcast and tell them, okay, you put me on collections and tanked my credit, but you also have to now, since I completely paid you off, gave you back all of your equipment, you need to go take that off. That's not something I could do. And that is irritating that there is no self-service method for doing that, because it's hard enough to get Comcast on the dang phone anyway. And they collected all my money just fine, so I don't know like how many typing fingers it'll take to get a hold of the collection agency and say, uncollection her, take her off the list. I mean, I would do it, but I don't know. I guess the companies, and this is not new, have been like this for a while. So it doesn't feel good. You feel you get burned over and over, right? But you know, eventually I got through the task, right? Tasks. I made the decision not to lose my mind because it just wouldn't do me any good. And low key, I feel like this, right? I feel happy, like I got what I needed to do done. The thing about this picture right now is that if you look at this woman, she's not a teenager. She's not dissimilar to my appearance. But she likes candles too. But I mean, look how happy she is there. I don't know like what specifically is going on with her in the moment there, but if you pay attention to people when they get older, they all have a demeanor, and some of them are down, some of them are upbeat and happy and fulfilled, and others I feel like are just tired. You know, you just get worked over by life. And we all do in some way. Like, I can't believe people don't escape some type of trauma, upheaval. Like, you always get a jolt in your life when things get too easy, I guess, too complacent, because that's just the way it is. That's why we live in a bipolar world. It's just designed that way. And I mean, there's like only there's only like a designer. It will not everybody believes in a god or a creator. You know, like, okay, things are random. They never have to answer the chicken or egg question. It's just they just poof, just appear. So if that was unclear, I let me just say, by the way, I think the chicken came first because an egg can't lay itself. Boom. But we all go through this repeatedly. It doesn't just happen once in life. So I mentioned that life would be boring if stuff didn't happen. I just saw something yesterday. I'm not going to go back and share the link or anything because it's kind of on the level of like a Eat, Love, Pray poster, something you have already seen undoubtedly in life. But it does apply. It doesn't mean that it's not true, even if it's on like a painted piece of wood that you're going to hang in your living room. Life would be boring if stuff didn't happen to upset things, like even you. And remember the whole Matrix deal and the playing out of a role to live out your karma. And I just want to be clear here when I'm talking about karma in this case, or I don't know about every case, but I'll just say in this case, living out your life is your karma. And the karma in the sense of the life that you're living out, you predetermined. You have a birth contract, you have a life blueprint that is cleared up, like everything, your whole life from beginning to end. Not everything is like completely static or written in stone. You can have like leeway, and changes can happen because, well, I'm not going to go into it, but let me put it this way. Same thing's going on with everybody out in the world, so everybody's affected by a change. And if everybody's having changes, everybody's being affected or having an effect. So that's what we're doing. We're like living out this karma. This is like what we wrote, and this is what we're gonna live. That is the karma. That is what we're going through. So good or bad, what happened to you, it's not like a ping pong game like we think, like, bam, you murdered me. Okay, so I'm gonna like murder you back, or in the next life I'm not gonna be a murderer. And that's more like karma. Like, you're gonna decide you want to be a murderer in this life, and then you decide you don't want to be a murderer in the next one. But it's not there to punish you. Unless that's what you wanted. If you feel like you're being punished, that's on you. You drew that plan. So yeah, I mean, like, we've been mistaking karma, I think, the nature of it for a long time. Because karma's not a bitch. Like, if you wrote it, you're the bitch. Are you a karma bitch? I don't know. Anyway, sometimes it can be hard and trying and tiring and all of those things, but that's all of part of the whole experience, though. It's funny, like, we can get like down on ourselves or feel down, and then I'll watch like something from one of my ETs that I like the Arcturians, or any of them, but specifically the Arcturians, because they talk about this the most. And it's that these things are happening, and you want to feel all of this stuff, like all of the things that we are feeling bad about, and feeling blue and feeling down. The feeling is the important part, and the experiencing and the going through it. And so, as bad or good as it might be, that's what you wanted. You wanted to know what that was like. So, you do go through stuff and come through, and you feel like you got burned and renewed and refreshed, but that's like a cycle happening. But the best thing is when you complete the action and you have things as close to your liking, I guess, as you could expect or want. I hope. I mean, I guess that's on us too. Anyway, thank you and good night.